welcome, Srinath. Hope you are able to present. Yeah, I think we'll. Yeah, please go ahead. Thank you.
So, hi and everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening. And thanks so much, Rakesh, having me on the boot camp. Is my screen is up?
Yes, Srinath, your screen is visible.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So screen was. Let me stop that. Okay. This something is not working. Yeah. Today, I'm going to talk about Azure DevOps for Dataverse ALM process. We know we develop a lot of apps, a lot of business application in the over the Dataverse, but we struggle to move this this customizations and configurations to the other environments. So that's how we automate as ALM application lifecycle management process. So we have Microsoft released Power Platform build tools with the help of Azure DevOps. We can create a pipelines of CI/CD to continuous integration and continuous deployment with a minimal steps. So I'm going to demonstrate the way how I follow with the help of the build tools. In the LM process, I used to say every time there is no right or wrong. We can do multiple ways to automate this our LM approach. So I'll show you the way I'll use a very simplest way. And today, our agenda it's going to be talk about how the DevOps project is going to be created and how to set up the repository. So the repository where we create our pipelines and where we commit our solution to the versioning. So I'll going to share that and export a solution from the dev environment using the CI pipeline with the help of build tools and service connections. Since Microsoft rolled out, means there is no basic authentication. So we need to connect our Dynamic 365 application to the Azure DevOps build pipeline. We need a connection in between those. So for that, we need a service connections. So I'll show you how we make the communication in between the Dataverse and Azure DevOps build pipelines and move the solutions in between the solutions. So and I'm going to talk about unpack the solution. We extract the solution, which means exported the solution from dev environment, which is a development environment. So solution we export and import, and it's going to be normal process. But anything happen in the future or anything, how we can roll back? So we can't roll back, right? So somewhere it should be in the repository as a source control. We can go back and check it out, like, oh, this time we pushed it, but we don't have now, but we want to uh, you know uh, put it in the the other environment as it is. So we can go back to the repository and select the repository and move it to other environment. So that scenario we use for unpack. So I'll going to show you how it works, and then packed solution. So it exported and unpacked, and we committed into the repository, but how it will be moved into other environment. So we need to pack it again and import it to build environment, where we fill the unpacked solution. So we'll use the build pipelines, means build tools. So that will do us for the work. And then we're going to export the solution from build environment as both unmanaged. I'll do both unmanaged and managed, so that we can use other environment, other uh, pipelines. So that's the reason why I'll do both at a time. Then publish the solution artifacts into the repository, then import the solution. So that's my whole structure of CI/CD. So that's I'll going to demonstrate each one by one in a demo part. So myself, Srinath Pega, I'm a solution architect. I'm working in SA Global in Hyderabad location. So these are my social links, and srinathpega.com, which my blog, where I used to post a lot of technical blogs, and these are my social links, and that's my YouTube handle, where I used to post my DevOps and a lot of other CRM tech videos. Please do check out, and a lot many videos are there respect to the dynamic sales, marketing, and so on and so forth, and full scale of uh, Azure DevOps for Dataverse or Power Platform. Its full scale session is there on 3.5 4 hours session is there. So please do check out there. So what is DevOps? So DevOps is a SaaS application. We can connect from anywhere through the internet. It's provide end-to-end tool chain developing and deploying this. Not only the this Power Platform, any solution we can connect and move the CI/CD things. And as I mentioned, for cloud hosted Git repository, anybody can access the repository from anywhere through the internet. And a lot of as I mentioned, we struggle to move the solutions from one environment to another environment, and we don't able to track what happened, who did, and those stuff. So a lot of those unknown questions will be answered by using this Azure DevOps CI/CD process. So that's the most benefit of using this process. So these are the Microsoft social handles where Microsoft will post their new releases. This is the blog, and this is a Twitter handle, and also a forum also there, and the blog where Microsoft post all this DevOps new releases. And to update ourselves, to check out these, Microsoft will every day on a daily basis they post the things. So as I mentioned, this is the structure I'm going to talk about, where I'm going to have the build pipeline, which is going to be export the unmanaged solution from the dev environment. So it's not dev, it could be anything where the development is happening. Some people will call something else. So where the development happens in an environment, that environment, the solution will be exported, and then unpack the solution and commit into repository where our pipeline got created. Let's say our pipeline got created in one particular project and one particular repository. So we need to commit our solution, unpacked solution, to that particular repository, so that the pipeline and repository will be in the same repository, so that we avoid some sort of breakages. And then it was in the repository as unmanaged, sorry, unpacked, so that we need to pack it again, and so on and so forth. Import and uh, to the build environment, export both managed and unmanaged. So then we got exported the dev environment solution and imported into the build. And also we are having unmanaged and both managed solutions with our repository, so that we can do whatever we want, either import wherever we want. So that's why we are keeping the solutions in a handy. So that's the CI solution pipeline I'm going to demonstrate. So how this will be help us to uh, roll back our changes. Let's something was happen. How we can't, in a manual process we can't roll back. Something happened, we want to roll it back. Then where we are packing it. So let's say something was happen, the changes we don't want to push it, but it was pushed. We want to changes roll back our changes to the previous. So what we need to do, pack the solution, not the latest version of the repository commit, previous commit, pack the solution and import it back to the build environment, so that we can get the changes of the previous. So that's how we know get the if anything happen wrong. So that's how we get the changes back. This is just CI pipeline, and this is the release pipeline structure. As I mentioned, we already have both managed and unmanaged solution with our repository with a CI pipeline. Here in the repository, we have the two solutions which managed and unmanaged. So with that one, we are going to import it to other environment. Either we want to any managed or unmanaged, so that the particular solution will be picked from the artifacts and imported. Let's say UIT, definitely it's going to be uh, managed, so it's going to be managed. Some of the application will have a UIT and production. Just before the production there is a hotfix, so there will be unmanaged. So we don't have to again export and import to the hotfix environment, right? So the same pipeline, we already having both the solution. We can pick the same that unmanaged solution and uh, put it in the hotfix environment, and later in the production managed solution. So because we are carrying the two solutions, wherever we want which solution, we can put it in the respective environment. So that's the main advantage. So here as well, same pattern, uh, managed solution, how we can roll back it. Uh, same commit. We just select the previous commit and put it in the new docket. And it has the different approach as well. There is a upgrade option. I'll going to talk about that as well. How, what will happen if you use the upgrade, uh, if something happened in a managed solution. I'll talk about in a demo. So how these pipelines will be developed. So we have talked much, but how it will be in the ground, how it will happens. So there is a tool called Microsoft Build Tools by the Microsoft. And, this tools, it's going to be make our life easier with this CI/CD pipelines. It was released in late 2019, early 2020. It was general availability, and previously it was Power Apps build tools, but now it's called Power Platform build tools. Now it is a build 12 build task now, and it's keep on increasing by the Microsoft. It's a free tool, nothing any cost involved. It's a free tool and anybody can use it. So this is the structure I'm going to talk about, build pipeline and release pipeline. So let's get into the demo so that so let's go to the DevOps so that I'll show how the pipelines will be created and what is a project and what is a repository. So this is my Azure DevOps homepage, and these are the organizations and these many projects into this organization, and I can have multiple organizations. So there is no restrictions, but organizations will have, it's a own their structure. So so I'm not going to show you the how organization will be created. Just be too many clicks, so it will be fine. And I have already if you sign up for the Azure DevOps, the default organization will be created. That will work for any number of projects. So we don't have to create too many organizations. And in that organization, default project also will be created. And but just in a practice how because that project already created and the repository also set it up. So I just want to show how the project and repository needs to set it up. So for that, I just I'll create a new project. So it is asking the project name and visibility, and Git definitely version is Git, and the projects will be Scrum. If the project is going to be agile basis, the work item process will be Scrum, and later also we can change it, but better to keep it as it is. And visibility, public and private. So public means anybody can see this project, who has access to this particular organization. Means this Spaghetti technology is an organization, not entire organization of the enterprise. But whenever I say organization, this organization will have the access, can able to access the project if we give the public. But there is a problem in this giving the public. If we given a public visibility to the project, we can't commit our repositories and so on and so forth. So there is a latest change. Previously it was, but there is a latest change. So we must and should go with the private when we do the CI/CD stuff. So I'm just giving the just I given a name and just create on create. So my project got created, and just a blank project. Welcome to the project and boards, repos, and test plans and artifacts. But we are not going to bother about this. But we only we need to look into the repository, because the way we are going to create our pipelines and uh, commit the changes to a repository. So just we can click here as well and here as well. Just click on here. So this is the repository. If you see, it's empty. So it's empty and add some code. So there is a way to set it up the repository, clone to computer, and already have any solution in the Visual Studio, just commit here, or else import the new any repository from other repository. So, but it's a very easy process rather than this process. Just click on initialize, it will be set it the repository. So yeah, now the repository was created. Now we can create our pipelines, add folders, create any sort of things. We can do it here. So we create the project, we set it up the repository. Now we need to create a pipeline. The way we create a pipelines. So there in the left panel, we have an option called pipelines. Under pipelines environment, just click the pipelines. So it will expand our options, pipelines, environments, and release library and task groups and deployment groups. So environment, basically the environment, the VM missions. Where our pipelines will be hosted. Since our pipelines will be, we are going to host in Azure virtual machines. I'm going to show which Azure machine is going to be hosted, and release pipelines. We are going to talk about in a bit. And libraries, if any libraries, something called variable groups. Any variables, we are going to use it in our pipelines to pass our values to the variables. So this variable groups is going to be holds and task groups. Again, this is the uh, um, linked with the environments. Any groups will going to be managed and to the environments and pipelines. So that's we are not going to cover it. And again, deployment groups, any approvals sort of groups will be added here. And yeah, that's all for pipelines. And we'll going to go to the pipelines and we'll create the pipelines. To create a pipelines, just click on pipeline. So it will open up the window to create a pipeline. So where is your code? So this is a repositories where we are going to create our pipelines. Is that Azure Kate or Bitbucket or so on and so forth? These many repositories to be created our pipelines. So if you see this until here, it's a YAML, and for platform and Dataverse also we can create a pipelines with a YAML, but that's a different approach. And we are going to create a pipelines with the help of build tools, which by Microsoft. So for that, click on use classic editor without YAML. So it will open up to select the source. Select the source where we want to create a pipeline. So the repositories, which is the project, definitely the bootcamp 2022. And in this, why this many projects are being able to see? Because in my this particular organization, these many projects are there. That's why it's showing up. So repositories, definitely it was only the one repository in this particular project, but we can have multiple repositories into one project. We can choose any, but we didn't create any sort of other repository. But let it be now. I'll show you the how it will be pick it up and which branch we should be select. Definitely it's a main, and the source definitely Azure repository kit, or else any other repositories wanted to be select, or we can select. But ideally it is selected as repository Azure repos kit. And to proceed, just click on continue. So these many templates. Either we want to go with the YAML or any sort of templates. So Azure DevOps have plenty of templates to create a pipelines for respective applications. But our case, we are going with a empty job. So this is the CI pipeline. Just if you see this, already took the name, a repository name, because the first pipeline and hyphen CI. This is continuous integration pipeline. So it's already took the CI name. Just let me save this first. So it was already added agent job one. What is this agent job one? This agent job is basically holds the pipeline, all the tasks, and run the pipeline with hosted in Azure virtual machine. So that as I mentioned, so our pipeline where it's going to be run. Definitely, it's going to be the Azure virtual machine hosted by the Microsoft. So who will take care of this? So agent job one will is going to be taken care to run the pipeline in the virtual machine. So agent pool, and it's automatically will going to take the values whatever the supported value. Nothing is going to be changed here. Whatever the settings, it's automatically it's going to be works for it. And only the one thing we need to select allow the scripts to access with token. If any scripts need to be taken will be access. So let me save it back. So our pipeline is ready. Agent also will be ready to take care of the pipeline. But how we need to add something else, which need to perform our solutions to be exported and imported and so on and so forth. For that, we need to add the Power Platform build tool task where we can those tasks. For that, just me open the home page back. So I'm on the project home page. So we need to get the build tools into our project. For that, click on organization settings, and the left panel, there is an extensions. Just click on extensions. So in my organization, it's already created the build tool, means already configure the build tool task. But if we are doing it the very first time, we need to get into the extensions and browse market. It will take us to the Microsoft marketplace and search for Power Platform. Yeah. So just click on this Power Platform build. So it's a free by Microsoft, and these many bit of documentation over here, what is what and how it works for it. So how it will be, and also it was logged as this ID. What is this ID? This ID is my login ID. So make sure that you logged with the same ID which is using to the Azure DevOps and ID which is used to log into the marketplace. So that that this add-on and will sync. To get that, just get it free, and it will navigate to the different screen to install. Yeah, it's loading your organizations, how many organizations will be there, and it will be show here already installed. If it is not there, then we will get an install option, and it will be installed on the selected organization. So this is the tool was last updated and so on and so forth, some sort of history. Then go back to, yeah, these are the updates about the tool. Okay, we got installed our extensions to the our organization, and here we need to remember if this extension was installed into this particular organization, means in my case this is my organization, how many projects I'll create into this project, the projects will automatically will map the extension to this project. So this is the new project that I able to get the extension to this project. So to add those tasks to this pipeline, just click on this add task to the agent Java. Just click on it and search for Power Platform. The moment I just typed over and it's showing everything. But if you're doing it very first time, you may not get. Given a time or refresh, it will get it, and just be patient to get installed and sync the tool and pipeline together. Uh, so we are going to do export our solution. Just click on export solution, but it doesn't work. Why it doesn't work? We have the agent, we have to export our solution. Let's add export and export our solution. No, it doesn't work like that. So our agent is it's going to be responsible to execute our pipeline in the virtual machine, nothing more than that. But export solution will export and it export. We give the connections and it will export, but it will not export. Why it's not exposed? There is some sort of dependency to to run any sort of task of the Power Platform build tool. There is a dependency task which is Power Platform tool installer. So this is should be the first. So Power Platform tool installer tool is very mandatory to execute all the tasks before the n number of Power Platform tasks in the pipeline. This is a very mandatory should have. This is a responsible to execute all the tasks. Any dependencies, everything is going to be supplied to the other task. Now agent is ready and we added the two tasks and exported our export the solution task was added. But it will go into export. But how we able to see the exported solution? So there is a place we need to keep our solution to see or consume somewhere else. So we need to publish our artifacts to our pipeline. So there is called publish artifacts. Oh, should be in the last, right? So we have already the exported and we are going to keep our solution in the public, published artifacts. There we can keep our solution, exported solution into the, either managed or unmanaged in the folder called draft, drop. We can give any sort of name. There is no restriction it should be used, but default is a drop. And the way where this solution is going to be placed. So this is the Microsoft defined directory, build artifacts staging directory. Under that directory, the folder called drop, it's going to be placed. So just add the task and export task is asking some sort of attention, some sort of things we need to given. And also authentication type, it's by default taken as username and password, no MFS support. It was worked before, but it's not working some reason since the last year Microsoft ended the basic authentication. So by using this basic authentication, it's asking the URL, environment URL, solution name, and solution output file, and on which we want to export out, managed or unmanaged. If we export the solution as a managed, so just check it out and it will export the managed. But we are not going to do with the basic authentication because it doesn't work, and that we need to give the service principal where we keep our uh, solution to export from environment. That environment we need to create a environment to this DevOps. We need to create a service connection. So how it will be created, the service connection? So that service connection will be created through the app registration where our AD is there. So I'll show you that. So this is it's act like a authenticated user, but we don't no one is going to be authenticated because it's going to be connect Azure means basically AD because the user is going to be added to the application as application user. It's going to be act as an enable user, and it's going to be connect to the apps to make connections to get the solution from the respected environment. So that's how this authentic client and secret authentications for happens. So I was into AD homepage. There is applications. Under application, there is app registrations. So we need to create an app registration to connect our application. When I say application, Dataverse environment to the other environment, any other environment, not just Azure DevOps, any external environment to communicate with the Dataverse environment. We need to create a sort of user to communicate to on forth. For that, we need app registration. So it already in my tenant, these many app registrations are there. To create a new app registration, just click here and let's give name. And by default, definitely it's going to be the single tenant, or you want to connect any sort of default tenant. It's going to be any sort of scenario you want to create or connect other tenant. Any case, just select so on and so forth. Any personal stuff, my personal Microsoft accounts. Let's say Hotmail and so on and so forth. So since we are in the same tenant, just go with the same tenant and just click on register. It's give the app registration is going to be created, and it gives the information about the tenant ID, application ID, and just let it. So for any questions, just be just post in the chat that someone can read it for me. I can't see the chart now. So this is the information about the Biz apps app registration, tenant ID, yeah, tenant ID, and so on and so forth. So we need an client secret. So that we need to create an client secret. So go and create a client secret. Just give the name, any sort of expiry. So just click on that. So this is the value we should be keep, remember, or store somewhere in a safe, because when I do refresh, this value is going to be away. We are not going to get this value back. Just let me copy it and refresh. It's going to be some sort of stance. Yeah. Now we created the app, and we having a tenant ID and application ID. But how we connect this app registration to the Dynamics? Let's say Dynamics or Dataverse or Power Platform. There is a option called add a authentication, add a platform. No, not this. Yeah, API permissions. Add new permissions. We can see dynamic CRM. Just select the dynamic CRM. Click on the delegated permissions. Use the user imposition, just select it and add permissions. So we just added the new API permissions, but we didn't grant any tenant level permission. Just grant the admin consent for this. Wherever you see this screen on, this is the tenant name. So just grant the admin consent for a particular tenant. Just click yes. Yeah, it's successful. Yeah. Now this app registration was created. We have the client secret and the values, and also we given the permissions to get access to the Dataverse or Dynamics of our platform. Now we need to get this app registrations user in the Dynamics or Dataverse as application user. For that, let's go to the admin center and any sort of environment. Let's try to add the app registration as a application user, which helps us to connect the applications via principal authentication, which is authentication. Let's click on this, and meanwhile, sometimes it's so slow. Yeah, and click on the settings. that is expand the users and permissions and application users. Click on the new app user and add an app. Since we created these apps, so we can see here. So let's select and add and select the business unit, since I have only the one, and it's asking the security role. Just to avoid any issue, just go with the system administrator. Since even we giving it as system administrator doesn't harm anything, because uh, this is a user is not going to be have any username and password, but it's going to be connect since having the administrator. This is non-interactive account, which means it's not going to be logged into the system as normal user, but we can, but it act as a normal user. So that's how the user is. This will going to be help us to connect the things. Fine. Now we got created a user as application user in the system and so on and so forth from the AD group things well and good. But how we need to connect this app registration as application user from the DevOps to Dataverse. For that, let's go to the our pipeline back. Now we need to give the service connection. What is service connection? Service connection is the bridge to connect Dataverse and Azure DevOps. For that, click on the manage. Since I have so many, because this is a new project, we don't have any sort of service connection. We need to create a new service connection to make the connection in between. So click on new, click on manage. So it will navigate us to the screen where we create a service connections. Since we don't have any kind of connections, create a new service connection, and it gives lot many service connections in the DevOps. But in our case, we are going to create a service connection with the name of our platform. Just select, click on next. It's going to ask the server URL, which is the environment where we going to connect. Means the Dataverse environment URL. Tenant ID where we let me paste first the client secret where we copied from the app registration.
Srinath, sorry to stop in between. Quick time check. We have 4 minutes left to start the next session.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's how it will be. And so which I showed you, right? The pipeline. Actually, I started 10 minutes late. So
yeah, you can take additional 5 minutes, no problem, Srinath.
Yeah,
Try to cover close to a logical point, so people can
I'll going to show you the already running pipeline, which I already showed in the demo, the pipeline which is created already. Yeah, this one. Okay, let me do this. So which I just showed you, right? So this is the pipeline structure, where pipeline export the solution, and the solution is going to be service connection. The service connection is going to be make the connection in between the environment, the solution name, and this is a solution output file where we need to export that solution to be keep. This is again Microsoft defined directory, but here I'm going to export the solution unmanaged, so I'm not selected exported unpack solution. And these all the directories I have posted here. This my GitHub repository. So you can grab this directories, which helps to make the pipeline. So this is so, and in the last I mentioned the artifacts. So it holds the solutions. So how it will be hold the solutions to be consumed other uh, pipelines. So where consumed, right? So it's a LM folder. We have two solution, which is managed and unmanaged, so that we can consume other pipelines wherever we want to use it. So it's exported and unpacked, right? So we committed the solution to the repository as if every folder will be created as a solution name. Let's see this, how this was committed and when it is the last changes. These are the changes, how it will be changes, history, there is a changes, and also if any fails, it will be show why the reason it is. And we can see the way the coding projects, right? Repository will be committed to this, and this many lines were added, this many lines were deleted, so on and so forth. That's how it will be. So this thread was mentions that it is deleted and green were added the new stuff into the repository. So -2 and +43. So that's how the repository will makes us to understand what are the changes happen to this particular element or components, anything. So who did by what? So those changes we can get it. This is because solution. It was changed by yesterday and last commit +4 and -4. And there is, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah, some sort of network. So we can compare as well. So what was the changes to the previous? So there is no previous changes. So this is the first comment. So that's why it's not showing. If it is any, so it will be shown by side, and what was the previous thing and current one. So that's how it will be. We can able to see. Yeah, this one. So it was the previous when it was happened yesterday and February, so on and so forth, done by me. And this is -118 and +2. So this is how who did what, and based on this information, we can take an action or any sort of rollbacks can be taken. And a release pipeline. This is the artifacts where we get this, from the build pipeline, the latest version build. The same release pipeline also get the same task. The service connection and everything will be the same, but input is going to be changed. The input is directory build. This is the build pipeline and craft folder, the solution name managed. So this is the same going to be changed, but the rest of the things will be changed same. So that's the release pipeline. So this is of course this is bit of lengthy one. Um, if you have any questions, anything, any sort of help or anything, just don't hesitate to connect with me over the LinkedIn or Twitter or any YouTube as well. So if you have any questions, just get into my YouTube channel, and their full scale ALM for Dataverse is there. Around 3 hours the session is there, full session. So just be watch out there. So that's all for me because time constraint. I'm just wrapped up.
Thank you, Srinath. Srinath, why don't you share your details of LinkedIn and Twitter in the chat?
Sure.
I do understand it's a lengthy topic. I think people will take time to digest. But if you can share contact details, that will be really helpful for them to connect with you in the next week onwards if they have any specific questions.
Sure. Yeah, I'm just sharing the links. Any questions so far? Like anybody wants to?
Folks, if you have any questions, this is a chance to ask Srinath. Later on also you can connect with him. But if you have any specific question on the walkthrough that we just had with Srinath, maybe that is going to really help him to understand if you have a specific question. Srinath, I don't see any specific question as of now. As I mentioned earlier, I think team is trying to still digest the content. It looks it's the process.
Yeah, it's a very uncommon topic. Also, we talk very less in the community as well. So let's give us some time to digest, and feel free everyone, just connect me over the wherever the mediums which I shared. I'm most of the time I will available in the community as well. Just be touch base with me if you have any questions.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thanks
Everyone. Yeah, thanks the giving an opportunity speak at this large boot camp, Rakesh, and thank you so much for having me on the session. Thank you everyone taking time. Yeah,
I really appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks everyone.